Well, after 2 days of drama and excitement in practice, Nelson Piquet is in pole position for the first time this year and right at the top of his very considerable form. Mansell second, and he's been on the front row for every race this year. Senna is third, Prost is fourth. They're the top four men. Then the Benettons of Thierry Boutsen and Theo Fabi went well in practice, but not so well in the final half-hour practice this morning, followed by those beautiful scarlet Ferraris of Michele Alboreto and Gerhard Berger. Derek Warwick is 13th in the Arrows Megatron, Martin Brundle is 7th in the Zakspeed, and Jonathan Palmer is 24th of the 25 starters, because, as I said, Piercarlo Ghinzani with the Ligier has been excluded because of a rules infringement in practice. So, Nelson Piquet in pole position on the grid. This Brazilian, who is already 2 times a world champion, and those figures at the bottom of the screen, 6, ... and then the 3 sixes, indicate that Nelson Piquet has had 4 second places at Brazil, at Monaco, Detroit and France, to give him those 24 points, which place him 3rd in the World Championship. He has been accused of losing interest. He had a colossal crash at Imola, of course, in which he was fortunately uninjured except for very heavy bruising. But the last 2 days have shown that Nelson Piquet most certainly has not lost interest. He intends to go on. He has said, racing is my life, I love it, and I'm going to go on until I can do it no longer. And he has to be a very real favourite today for his first ever British Grand Prix win. And Piquet, with 2 World Championships behind him, has already won 17 Grand Prix and now 21 pole positions. You see the heaters in position on his tyres, those blankets which have electric elements inside them, and I'm glad to say that they were thought of, designed and are built in Britain. And all the teams use them now, not just in Formula One, but in many different types of racing all over the world. And alongside Nelson Piquet, the man you can only describe as his arch rival, there he is, Nigel Mansell, who is still not in the car, of course. And red 5, because Mansell has a red 5 and Piquet has a white 6 on the front of their cars. Won at San Marino and he won in France. Those are the 2 9s. He finished in 5th position in Detroit. He finished 6th in Brazil. He failed to finish, of course, in the Belgian Grand Prix when he had that controversial coming together with Ayrton Senna, which took them both off the circuit. He failed to win. He failed to finish even in Monaco, notwithstanding the fact that he qualified in pole position and led brilliantly. And Nigel Mansell has had pole position in 5 of this year's Grand Prix. In Brazil, in Belgium, in Monaco, in Detroit and in France. And he's been on the front row of the grid in every one of this year's Grand Prix. What about Ayrton Senna? Ayrton Senna da Silva, number 12 in the very distinctive yellow Lotus Honda. He, like the 2 cars in front of him, is powered by the engine to have these days, and that is the V6 Honda. And as those 2 9s indicate, Ayrton Senna has won 2 races. Significantly, 2 street races at Monaco and Detroit, where he had what has proved to be a real advantage of this new computerized, unique Lotus hydraulic suspension. He finished in 2nd place in San Marino. He finished in 4th place last weekend in France, and he leads the championship by 1 point. All the drivers do what he is doing now, get themselves topped well up with fluid, because there is going to be an enormous fluid loss during this race. It's very hot in the car, and they wear these very heavy overalls and underwear. The man all those 3 fear more than anybody is the little Frenchman, the popular, ebullient, charming, regarded by many people as the most complete racing driver of today, double world champion Alain Prost. World champion in 1986 and 85. fifth in the championship in 81, fourth in 82, second in both 83 and 84, an incredible record. This year, as the 2.9s indicate, he has won 2 Grand Prix, Brazil and Belgium. He finished third in Detroit and third in France. He failed to finish in San Marino, and he only finished in 9th place in Monaco to score no points. But he won the British Grand Prix in 1983 and 85, and he finished third last year. I'm mildly surprised to know that there are no tyre. There's Ron Dennis, the supremo of McLaren in the background. Neil Oakley is the fair-haired man with the moustache on the left, who is Prost's race engineer. Each of the 2 drivers, in his case, Prost and Johansson. Well, now Prost has got the tyre heaters, and in 5th position on the grid, but he's a man without tyre heaters, to our surprise, and that's the quiet, charming Belgian Thierry Boutsen, who has got but 2 points this year, because he has had a lot of problems with the Benetton car, and it has the Ford V6 turbo engine, which gave a lot of trouble in France, but they've done a lot of work on it since. And Boutsen, without any heaters on his tyres, is in 5th position on the grid. 2 points, and he got those 2 points for finishing in 5th position in Brazil. He's failed to finish in San Marino, Belgium, Monaco, Detroit and France, so he will be desperately hoping for a finish today, and if he finishes and the car is going well, he will be well up, I promise you. In 6th position on the grid is this man. Anybody who, I always think, who looks less like a racing driver, it's difficult to imagine. Little Teo Fabi, who actually runs a talc factory in his home area of Milan. He's been racing for 12 years. But don't let appearances deceive you. He is phenomenally fast, especially on a circuit like Silverstone, because he has been in pole position and made fastest lap at Indianapolis in America. That's the sort of driver he is. Now, behind Fabi are the 2 Ferraris. The popular Michele Alboreto, who has just announced, to some people's surprise, including mine, that he is driving for Ferrari next year. Many people expected him to sign for Williams. Well, Michele Alboreto hasn't had much luck. Those 2 4s add up to the 8 as a result of 2 third places in San Marino and Monaco. Gerhard